Hey guys, we're at the South African Air Force Museum Show today. Stick around, because this is one you do not want to miss. This show is a reminder of what South Africa is capable of. The engineering, the pride, the people, it's all here. And later in the video, I interviewed an actual Hawk Mk 120 fighter pilot and a student pilot fresh in training, just to get their perspectives. We arrived at Air Force Base Swartkop just before 7 in the morning, and the lines were already stretching back further than we expected. As soon as the gates opened up, the queue moved surprisingly fast, and within minutes, we were in. The show kicked off almost immediately. South African Air Force fire response vehicles drove down the runway in formation. It sounds simple, but it was genuinely spectacular. Lights flashing, engines roaring, the crowd pressed up against the barriers. Just a reminder that an air show is a full military operation, not just a flying display. One of the first to take the skies was the North American SNJ Ford Texan, the training aircraft that taught generations of South African pilots how to fly. Its round engine and throaty growl are unmistakable. We then saw biplanes taking to the air, and there's something about a biplane against a blue South African sky that never gets old. Then came the jets. The BAE Hawk Mk 120, South Africa's current lead and fighter trainer. It serves as the final training aircraft before South African Air Force pilots graduate to the Gripen. There were also quite a lot of helicopters flying around, and for 500 Rand you could actually go up for a flight over the showgrounds, but we unfortunately did not budget for that. As the morning went on, the crowds grew. What had been open space along the flight line became shoulder to shoulder within an hour. Finding a good viewing spot required some patience and a bit of strategy, so we decided to go look at static displays. First, the Denel Rooivalk.
This was actually made and designed in South Africa.
Development began in 1984, primarily due to the need for a dedicated close air support platform during the border war with Angola and the international arms embargo imposed on South Africa because of its apartheid policies. Next to it, the Super Frelon.
It's a beautiful aircraft. I mean, some people would argue that it's ugly, but I think it's very interesting.
And then a Soviet-era Mil Mi-24A, the NATO codename Hind.
It looks like it's out of Star Wars.
Among the jets on static display was one of the most iconic fighter jets ever built.
And I hope I pronounce it correctly, the Dassault Mirage. It's a French aviation company that actually made this jet.
This is an aircraft that defended South African skies for 4 decades. Now this was something we did not expect. This is a Boeing 707. You can already see the large South African Air Force livery running along the fuselage.
And as you can see here, this is used for in-flight refueling.
Evidence that this aircraft was built to stay in the air for a very long time. The interior has been preserved as a command and control center. Screens, consoles, crew stations. Standing in the cabin, it hit me. This aircraft flew real missions, gathered real intelligence, and kept South African pilots alive during the border war.
I'm standing here with...
This is Joseph Oteng.
Joseph, 2 Josephs in one video, and he's currently doing his pilot license. How are you enjoying the show today? Have you been enjoying it? Is it fine?
Yeah, I think I'm just getting excited right now, but I think it should be more fun to come here.
You started off with your private pilot and then commercial pilot license. So you said that took you 3 years to get there. It must have been a very expensive price to pay, eh?
Yeah, definitely it's very expensive. But you always have to put in the hard work and determination here.
And what would your advice be to people who want to become a pilot?
You don't have to hold yourself back. Everyone can do it. As me, I can do it. Joseph, I think everyone so should be able to do it. No matter the challenges and everything, I think everyone can live up to their dreams.
That's very cool. Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate your time, brother. Hey guys, I'm standing here with the Air Force pilot. He's going to tell you guys a bit about this plane standing behind us and what it means to be in the South African Air Force.
Yes, sir. I'm Major Michael Kent, call sign Badger, and I'm a pilot at 85 Combat Flying School, currently on an operational training course, learning to use the aircraft as a weapon. Behind us, we've got the Hawk Mk 120. It is a British aircraft that we acquired in 2004, and we use it to train our qualified pilots to become combat pilots and move on to fly the Gripen one day.
Super cool. What do you think is the difference between being like an aircraft pilot, then obviously Air Force pilot. What's the main difference, and what could you argue that this is better?
Yeah, I have to argue it's better. Yeah, the machinery get to fly in the Air Force is always incredible. But the main thing is we use it for a different purpose. At the end of the day, it's a weapon, and we train to use it as that. You know, flying these kind of aircraft becomes something that's in your back pocket. It needs to happen in the back of your mind naturally, and your focus needs to be operating the aircraft as a weapon system and supporting them bigger mission at hand. That's the most important thing.
What would you say is the state of the South African Air Force at this stage?
It's good. You know, we fly relatively often. We go through ups and downs. Obviously, when we don't fly, we all get grumpy. It's challenging. I can speak for our unit. We're always ready to go. So, yeah.
It's really good to hear that you guys are prepared for combat, if I could put it that way. I think a lot of South Africans, I wouldn't say they misunderstand it, but I think they probably don't judge it right. And they've got a misconception of what's actually going on in South African Air Force at this stage. But yeah, I mean, thank you for informing us about all of this. And any advice for any future or young pilots?
Yeah, just don't give up. This has been a dream that I had since as long as I can remember. And man, the chances of getting here when I was on the other side of the fence were, I felt like almost zero, but my motto was always, all it requires is a chance, no matter how small that chance is. And I just never gave up. And here I am. So yeah, just don't give up.
What a man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate your time, man.
As the afternoon hit kicked in, we finally called it a day. But walking out, I kept thinking, South Africa is a country that carries a lot of weight. But then you come to a day like this, and you see South Africans of every background standing together on a runway, looking up at the same sky, watching machines that their fellow South Africans built, flew, and maintained. The South African Air Force Museum Air Show isn't just an air show. It's a reminder of what this country is capable of when it decides to be excellent. It is absolutely worth going. We will be back next year, and I'd strongly recommend you go too. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps us keep making content like this. And drop a comment below. Which aircraft from today was your favorite?
Ja, dis baie koud hierso. Sprekkoud.